All right. So I have something that might interest you on what happened at the Dollar General.
Dollar General story. These have to be good.
I mean, has any well, I probably don't hear many Dollar General stories, but
that's why it has to be good.
Okay, all right. It could be sad too, because it's Christmas time, right? And well, it's the season of giving, right? So anyway, I'm at Dollar General. I have to get milk for something that Sarah is making for dinner because we're out of milk. And I get milk. I get some coffee creamer and some Reese's, right? Because Sarah likes that, and it's a good nighttime snack for, even though you shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, it's kind of packed for the checkout line. So this dude gets like $65 worth of Dollar General shit, which that's already a lot to me. I'm like, man, we are buying. He got like a rug, at Dollar General, all kinds of stuff. I know. I was like, this dude's going all out.
Red flag.
Yeah, maybe this is
single guy with a cat.
Yeah, that's right. Going to a gift exchange. Yeah. So he leaves. He pays in cash. He leaves. And I'm still in line. The lady in front of me has a shit ton of stuff. So she's starting to kind of check out, and this guy walks back in and says, "Hey, you shortchanged me." And he wasn't a dick about it. I kind of phrased it like he was kind of rude. But he goes, "Hey, you shortchanged me. I was owed back 65. You only gave me," and I can't 55 or 45. So it's either 10 or 20 bucks that she shortchanged him. And obviously she needs the manager to open the register, right? The whole 9 yards. So anyway, the manager comes up, opens the register, and basically tells the lady working the register and says, "Hey, you're going to have to pay this out of your check."
No.
Yeah. So once we count the register at the end of the day, you're going to need to pay in cash at the end of the day if we're short. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I didn't say that, but I'm thinking this. So I'm like already thinking like, dude, like, do I have cash in my wallet to like,
yeah,
like, dude, this is like 2 hours of her paycheck. Sure, she's hourly, right?
Oh, 100%.
So the dude who's like, "Hey, don't you have cameras to see that like she counted the right change and no one stole it? Like, I counted it and it was just a simple mistake." And they're like, "Yeah, but once we count the register, still if we're short, that now she's responsible for out of her pocket." And I was like, if I would have heard that as the dude, I would have just like taken the change that she owes me and then given it to her to then pay back. Like, dude, it's not worth it. Like, that chick losing her money.
No, but there's a lot of people that probably don't give a shit. But at the other thing, though, if the guy was being truly honest,
I'm assuming
she would not be short, though, correct? If he was,
that is true.
Honest.
That is true. I thought about that too, but
yeah,
I'm not going to stick around to closing time to find out.
Well, yeah,
right. And if the chick walks out with 10 or 20 extra bucks, or if Dollar General, she puts it back in the register for God forbid, I don't even know, walks out with 10, 20 profit on the day, more than they should, that's fine too. Right? It's fucking Dollar General. It's a lady that probably is working 16 hours a day. She's old. She said she worked cleaning jobs in the morning. I don't know. She seemed like an honest cat, but you don't know people these days. I'm just saying, I would have given the chick the money regardless and have been like, "Listen, just take it. If you got to pay it back, no problem, no harm, no foul. But if you're all even now, just keep it. Merry Christmas."
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't have cash on me. I was going to do that. I actually thought about it, kind of running late because I had to eat and then we had to hop on here. But I was talking about going by the ATM and just kind of doing like a $20 and just like, "Here, just take this. I don't give a shit."
Right. You don't need to be short.
Yeah, easy to say now.
Power. Yeah. No, that was a sad story, man. Damn.
I'm sorry.
Well, let's hope the guy was being honest and she's not short.
Yeah.
If you know that went the other way and somebody overpaid and so she checked the register at the end and they had $10 too many, that manager is not like, "Let's add that to your check."
Exactly.
The manager's pocketing it, dude. The manager is not pocketing it for himself. Maybe he is, but he's pocketing it for the company. Like,
yep.
Make it go both ways.
I know. We're good. Yeah. Anyway, Giants game. You went to the Giants game this past weekend on Sunday. Solid?
It was good, dude. Great time. Listen, we had a suite that also connected to the coach's box, so we could go stand right behind the player's bench. Like,
oh, okay.
It was dope. Suite, everything's included. All the booze you want, all the food you want. And I'm talking like prime rib, shrimp scampi, which I get on.
Man.
They keep bringing new food in the whole time.
Oh, I love the new hot food. I love the new hot food.
Yeah. So the game itself, I mean, it was fine. It was really fun seeing Lamar in person, I will say. And I was actually impressed because being up in the suite, you get that whole view, like more than the all-22 angle. And there were just some throws where it's like, dude, excellent. Like, because he had to throw it at that exact time to fit it in between two people 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, Lamar, like, you're more than an athlete.
You're an MVP candidate. This is fair. I'm sorry, MVP winner and also a candidate, both.
Yes. 2-time winner. So it was good, man. Yeah. Cold as fuck, but it was good.
Yeah, I was about to say, I looked at the weather before you went. I was like, man, 32, I think was the high or something like that. I was like, oh, boy.
When we started tailgating at 8, didn't go into the stadium till like 12:30. God,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, what was the tailgating drinks? Did they have anything warm, or was it strictly seltzers and shit, Or
yeah, it was...
apple cider flying around,
there were definitely people drinking beer. I did not do that.
Okay, I know you didn't. That's a negative.
I didn't bring gloves. I forgot gloves. So I did... someone brought a Bloody Mary mix. That was sweet.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, for the morning. That's a good morning time.
It's the best morning drink. That's pretty much the only time So I started with 2 of those, and I went to a little eggnog bourbon.
Oh. Eggnog's thick, I think.
It was so thick. It wasn't like amazing, dude, but like I was like bourbon on a cold day. So
yeah, it warms you up. It does. I mean, it's a myth because it's not actually. It's more of a placebo thing, but it's not because it's actually going to warm you up in the immediate, but it's actually going to hurt your body in the long term.
Oh yeah,
is the medical effects for that? Like it doesn't actually warm your body up down the long term, Anyway.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. Yeah,
I know, but yeah, when I have apple cider that's warm, it's like hot coffee. Like I get warmer. Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, hell yeah, Giants. So that's I guess is that your one NFL game for the year in terms of on-site visit watching?
I went to the Broncos Panthers game earlier.
That's right.
This year.
Yeah, you're at 2. Okay.
And then I'm gonna go to the Broncos Chiefs game. That's the last game of the year.
Oh, at Denver.
Yep, at Denver. Yeah.
Wow, that could be a good one, actually.
It could be important, depending on how these last 3 weeks shake out. It could actually. I hope it's important.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs could win in 2 of the next 3 and be okay, and then sit everybody there.
Which I don't think they would because that's 2 weeks off. I don't think teams like doing that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they play more than a half.
Yeah.
So I don't want that because I don't want Denver fans to be like, yeah, fuck you guys, and then me be like, listen, we're the 1 seed. Fuck off. I don't have to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into we got action URL codes shown. There we go. If you want to follow our bets, got a lot of bets coming up. A lot of bowl games. Had one last night. That ended up getting kind of crazy. I didn't stay up that late to watch it, but there was an interesting replay involvement there late. I don't even want to say decide the game. That's not true, but it could have factored in if W got the ball back. But it ended up being a close game, 5 points. Gosh, what a crazy time there at the end. Depending on what number you got, right? You got to be on the right side of the right number. I had 2.5. There were some 6s right before the game, kind of noon yesterday on that West Virginia-Memphis game. And then I don't know what it closed at, but I saw 5 about 2 hours before the game, right? And the game ended 42-37 Memphis.
Wow.
Yes, sir. So depending what you got could have made a win or loss. Or, sorry, even a push. There you go. Even a push for you.
Everything. Damn.
Yeah. I got the URL codes if you want to. QR codes. There we go. Much better. On the screen if you want to scan them for our action. I don't know if you saw recent update to action yesterday. I think it was, or 2 days. No, it's a couple days ago now, where you can get your, the yearly recap, kind of like Spotify does with your most played songs and stuff. Mm-hmm. They give your most profitable team, your most profitable bet, and your worst team that you bet on, all of that. I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, I like that, though. I thought you were gonna just go with, they give you your whole year recap, and I was gonna be like, not interested in looking, dude.
No, they give you like a 6-7 page reel of everything. Like, there were a couple bets on there I do remember from February that were huge. Like I had an NBA bet that hit like 50 units. That was a huge one. I had Stetson. Stetson was my most profitable team this year.
Stetson, what the fuck?
Yeah, they ended up winning the conference championship, men's basketball. That's why they played in the NCAA tournament versus UConn and got beat. But They're 1-10 this year, Stetson is, and I won another bet on them last night. It was more against them than for them. So I guess you could say that was for LSU last night, not necessarily for Stetson. Anyway, the reel's pretty cool. Kind of shows you month to month how you did profit-wise. So that's kind of tight. Yep. And it gives you like your top 3 bets of the year. You can take a look at it. It's pretty sweet. So I want to mention that. And then we'll hop right into where we were right. I felt good on the college bet. And I felt good about the Theilen bet. We'll get to that in a second. But Memphis 2.5, like I said, I got to have the right number. Last night, that went into about 1 a.m., I believe. So 12 a.m. Oh, no, that had been 11 p.m. your time.
Yeah, I didn't even stay up for it.
You didn't even stay up? Yeah. So I watched all the way to halftime, and I started to slow down, feeling a little tired. So I didn't get the end of it until this morning. So I didn't keep up. I thought it was kind of locked in. West Virginia sucks. But they kept fighting back. So that was interesting.
I saw it was a pretty big difference, so that's where I just checked out.
It was
just pretty big.
17 points at one point.
Yeah, that's what I look at.
But West Virginia kept fighting back, man. Garrett Green and then the quarterback kept fighting back for them. But you went 2-2 again last week.
I did.
You went 2 right. You Ravens Giants, right?
Over 42.5 on that game. I got to 49. So funny, I said, I don't know if you remember, and I wouldn't hold this to you because we say a lot. Okay. I forget a lot. But I had said when I gave that over out as my best bet, I said I see a 34-10 game here. That's what I'm betting on. 35-14.
35-14, yeah.
Not bad on that.
Yeah, you could have bet at least some team total there between a certain amount. You could have bet you do a final bet, a final score bet would have been real nice, but that's so hard.
Yeah,
that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda bet, right?
Exactly. And I had 4 bets on the game. I hit every one because I had the first half over. Ravens scored at the very end, with 30 seconds left, which covered that, and it covered the first half minus 8.5 because that put them up 14, and then the full game over, and then I had the full game minus 16 for the Ravens. So for me, it was profitable. Now the problem was I was with all Giants fans, and I kept celebrating, and seriously, some of them were side-eyeing me. And I'm kind of like, dude, your team's 2-10. What the fuck are you getting mad at? Your team sucks.
Let's go get that pick. You know what I mean?
Dude, I told everybody here in the tailgate, these are my bets. Giants are 2-10.
This is strictly about money, bro. This ain't about, I'm a Ravens fan. Yeah,
that's it, dude. Yes. So anyways, but we got there. Next one, Josh Allen over 12.5 on the longest rush, hit 21. Now, to be fair, he hit his rushing over and his longest rush over. So he ended up whichever angle. Because I told you, I was more thinking banking on having a long rush.
Yep.
They kind of dominated that whole game, which was crazy. Missed the first quarter, driving back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was distracted, but we got to the window.
Yeah,
so,
I was a little worried about the longest rush, but you got it.
You were.
Matabuki did not play well. This is probably my biggest flop of the year. I know I've missed some sack prop bets, but we've had some hurries in there and some decent grades. This one, he did not grade well. And he only had 1 hurry, but he had 0% win percentage for the day. So no sack prop this week on a hit. That was the only one I had, actually, that I bet. No, I parlayed Trey Hendrickson. He had a forced fumble on the day for the Bengals, but no sacks, so that was kind of shitty. So Matabuki was a flop. Adam Theilen, half a yard miss.
I saw that.
Man.
Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
And you know what? It's tough because we've talked about, and this is how props go, so I kind of already moved on from it. But he had a BJ. Geez, Bryce Young. They were trying to come back, man, and Thielen was wide open. I don't know if you saw that down the middle. And he underthrew it by, I'd say, every bit of 5 yards. And they picked it off. Nice. Wide open down the middle. All you got to do, you got to throw it above them, right? Above the safety, above the linebacker, which he kind of got over the linebacker, but definitely not over the safety. Went right to the safety. It was so short. But that would have destroyed that number. But that's how receiving props are. Josh Downs had a couple of those this year, a couple flags against him for his over-under on. That's how it works, man, right? Penalties take it away. So it's part of the game. Half a yard sucks. But that's why it's there, right? That's why the half is there. So it's a miss. Teaser bet, jumping on the teaser game. I wasn't even close on this. I'm okay with that, not even being close. Like we said in the podcast last week, it's just the time of the year, man, where pretenders are pretenders, frauds are frauds, or also pretenders, and studs are studs. Teams that are good. Chiefs are good. Bills are good. Right? Ravens are good. Eagles are good. Right? Like they're not frauds. They're solid ballers. The Browns do suck. The Bears suck. Right? And when they play good teams, now the Browns Chiefs game could have been a little bit more interesting, but man, that's why Winston's getting benched. Right? Like. Yeah. Because it was only 21-7 and the under hit. So I had the under hit on that, but it doesn't matter when your best bet's a Browns with a teaser. So
yeah. Those were well, the Browns game was the noon game. So yeah. I did not.
And the Bears were terrible. So we don't even need to go. They weren't even close.
No.
And that kind of went off of the, divisional opponents, 21-point loss following up. A lot of the trends supported the bet did not come to fruition, especially when you just suck. So it's just weird that team was so good against ATS. Now they're like atrocious, right? They just get killed. I don't know.
There was no bounce back after the coach firing, which is like the first team in the history.
I know. It's so odd. So I guess I'm following kind of history, but losing with it. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, teaser bet. You got to be like, what, 1-10 this year? I don't know.
Oh, it's not that bad, but it's probably 33%. But this was a long one. This was a plus 160 bet. So we went for it here a little bit. This could have really helped the day. Bucks Bills, easy money.
Yes, it was.
Then we just had the Seahawks game, and I'm getting 8.5 at home, prime time. I didn't even get to watch it because the screen was all fucked up on the flight home.
Okay,
which pissed me off. So I just landed, and I was like, I got their ass beat. Sweet. So I don't really have commentary on it because I didn't get to watch it. I heard Gino got hurt.
Yep.
Sounds like it was over before that. So yeah, that's why it's so hard to hit 3-game teasers, obviously. I was just really struggling to decide between those three. So I was like, fuck it, dude. Let's just go for it.
Seahawks won. I was going to be on that as well, but they're not that great at home, ATS. They're just not.
It's surprising. Yeah,
it is really surprising. So that's kind of what scared me away on it. And then Gino getting hurt, bro. Sam Howell just blows. I don't know if you saw his numbers. He had 5-14 or some shit. I don't even know.
Yeah, I heard he just is sitting duck in the pocket.
He sucks, dude. He's not any good. But we'll have a little preview coming up. Geno Smith worked out on Monday. Wants to give it a go. So
he's the word.
And then Dolphins +3. I watched that game because I watch all the freaking Florida teams. It's annoying. I don't know what to say about it. I said the Dolphins suck. They do. They have so many issues running the football. When they really need it, they just can't control games. That's the problem. But what's his name had a huge breakout game. I can't pronounce his number 6 or 5. The real tall kid, not Waddle, not Tyreek Hill.
Are you talking about Achane or whatever?
Achane, no, not him. No, the receiver for the Dolphins had they kind of really started firing it to him real hard. Kind of there late in the game, and I thought they kind of were all in on him a little too early. a little too much, because I know he was kind of working it, but I thought they were a little bit too much. Sorry, Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu, tight end. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Jonnu had. Okay. Sorry, receiver. Yeah, he's so big and he's kind of skinny for a tight end, kind of like some Pitts action.
Yeah, he's always been a receiving type guy. Yeah, that is true.
11 targets though. They were kind of force feeding him the ball there late in the game. But yeah, all the other receivers were kind of nowhere to be found, right? Waddle had nothing. Tyreek Hill only had 36. And then a lot of turnovers late, 2 picks late from Tua.
Oh, Tua.
Yeah. When you throw, depending on you're on the far hash, and you throw to the other side of the field, you better have an arm, bro. You better whip that ball.
And he's never really had that. That's never what he's been known for. He's known for his accuracy and timing.
Yeah, because McDonald does a lot of those, like look one way, like reverses, look one way, and then turn and then do a play the other. He loves that shit. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like screen this way and then go to a screen the other way, or do a look that way and then pitch it to Achane or whatever, and then run up the middle. He does that shit a ton.
He almost feels like a Cliff Kingsbury. First 8 weeks, he runs. Final 8 weeks, like people catch on. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Oh, they're gonna do some bullshit play here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're catching on. Because if you'd have told me before this game, I'm gonna spot you 3 points and tell you the Texans are only gonna score 3 points or 20 points, I would have been like, "Fuck yeah, double down, dude."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dolphins scored 12 though.
I know. I'm not a Texans guy either. I didn't like either one of those teams. That's why I probably didn't have a feel. But yeah, man. Yeah. Dolphins kind of, I don't know. They kind of flaked. But I guess it's just hard to control games when you don't run the ball really well. I don't know.
Offensive line.
Yes.
You talk about the trenches all the time. Their offensive line isn't good because they don't have time to throw the football either.
Nope. And that's why they try to get the ball out quick. And that's kind of in Tyreek Hill. He gets, he's got the best corner / double. And it's just kind of a mess there, I think, at times. Anyway. Yeah. Graphic I'm in now, the losers category. That's kind of where I'm hanging. You had the same record I had last week, I think.
Yes.
I've had that record before. That's why I was looking at it. The Theilen one hurts. The Theilen one hurts, but that's okay. I would say college football not kind of being full throttle hurts, but that's not really true. I've had some bad weeks, but I was kind of catching on late. Not necessarily best bets for him, but at least in profit area. But it's all right. It's a betting. That's why we'll get back after this week. We got a lot of stuff. We got playoff games firing up for college football, and then obviously NFL. Last 3 weeks of NFL is now here, so we got a lot to talk about there. All right, we'll dive right in. So first up, I'm 30-31. So audio form, I'm 30-31. I'm below 500 now. Alex is at 29-27, and we're not going sack prop bets this week. I don't have
no. Getting them out.
Yeah. Well, dude, we're doing this episode a little bit early, so there's not a lot of props that were out there as of noon. Now they're all coming out now.
Yeah, I struggle finding them. Like, there's only one book that I have, and I've got 84 books available that has props out.
Yeah. So, so that's kind of why I don't really have a good, but I have numbers now. I have a lot of numbers now, so we're good. But as of noon today, I didn't. I was a little worried. We got him now. I'll let you go first since I always lead the NFL the last couple of times on this segment. I didn't know where you wanted to touch base on first, whether it's a total, you're going to do a money line, or you have your prop this week. Where'd you want to hit first?
Are you going? You have MVP odds.
Sorry. I didn't know.
Are we skipping?
I didn't know if you wanted to touch base on that. I saw today. Now, Josh Allen is overwhelmingly a favorite at this point.
Has to be.
For odds. I think I saw minus 900 on Circa board there. I think that's way too high. So is this a time where you just throw some money on a Barkley or a Jackson or maybe someone I'm not even thinking about, which I think that would be too much of a long shot. Because I don't think Allen is that much of a minus 900, especially if Lamar goes on to win the division.
It's not worth it. Here's the thing. Crazy. I got Lamar Jackson last week. Right? We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I locked him in at plus 900. And that's when Josh Allen was like minus 240.
Yeah.
And my thought there was like, this narrative can change so fucking fast on the last 2 weeks. Like the media, whatever, it can just change so fast. So I was like, I am willing to throw a small bet. But now Lamar Jackson's plus 550. Saquon Barkley the last 2 weeks has kind of fallen off. I'm sorry, that ship has sailed. To me, this is no longer worth a bet on anybody.
Really?
That's where I'm at. I know. What do you think? I don't know.
Barkley's number I thought was rather juicy. Obviously, pinned in your book, of course. I'll go look it up now. I should have had this up for us. But I thought the Barkley bet when I saw it was like 10-1 or something. I may be talking. I'll look it up here really quick. But I thought that was rather juicy on that there. Player awards. Here we go. Barkley's at plus 1,600. I think that's totally within the realm of a shot. I don't know if I'm going to do it.
Just a 0.1 unit back.
Yeah, man. Just for laughs and giggles and, chump money that you weren't expecting to get. But it's a quarterback league is the reason it's a pushback, right? Quarterback league. Allen's obviously the favorite. If they were going to give it to someone else, probably Lamar Jackson, especially if they win the division, which I think they will, which would be insane. They've never done it starting out 0-2. We've talked about that about a few times there. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, no one on the list, no one on the boards even, I would not even sniff out. That's why I put Jackson and Barkley. I have Jackson at plus 750. I think that's like Allen's minus 1,000 on my board here. It's not that much of a lock.
No, but I'm so hesitant because the last 3 weeks though, Josh Allen is just breaking every fucking record.
No question.
It's like week over week over week.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's where it's like, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for him to lose this. Like, very difficult. Even me saying, like, it can change so fast. But at the same time, fucking minus 900? Never.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, if you wanted to do Saquon maybe at this number, but Lamar Jackson for me, I mean, I also, just because I got him at 900. So
900?
why would I?
I still like the 900. Why not?
Yeah. No, I don't mind it. And that's why, like we said, just chunk change. Just a small little fucking play. Let's see what happens here. If I lose, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I'm out. Are you going to do a small chunk change on Saquon?
I'll think about it. I'm not at this time. Just because of the quarterback league scares me. That's the thing. That's the thing. I did. You know what's funny? We have before I move on, I just want to get you a quick laugh here. I have the bet with Jason, $30, even odds. It's a straight up $30, yes or no, right? Even odds for Shedeur Sanders to be a top 5 pick in this year's draft.
God.
He is for number 1 overall pick. Shedeur was opening at minus 115. He is now down to minus 125 as the first overall pick for the NFL
He's
draft.
going to be top 5. Sorry, Jason. That was a terrible bet.
I know. So I guess it all depends on who kind of gets the pick, right? It's kind of what it comes down to probably right there. So
yeah, all the Giants fans they want Shedeur.
Really?
Everyone. They all do.
Wow. He may not play for them.
I know. That's a whole nother fucking topic.
I know it. All right, where do you want to go first? Total, money line, or a prop?
Let's start with the money line, man. Fuck it, why not?
All right, hit it.
So for me, I'm playing the Cards Panthers here. A little self-talk there. So obviously I'm on the Panthers. Panthers are the dog. They got whooped up versus the Card. Listen, I've been right on 2 out of 3 of these moneyline dogs. So I'm gonna keep rolling with how I'm rolling, baby.
Do it. No, I mean I'm way off, so I have no room to talk. Besides, I love the Cardinals, obviously. But anyway, go ahead.
I know you do. Panthers are at home. This is for the Cardinals season. Let's be real. That the one negative thing is the whole season rides on this for the Cardinals. They have to win the football game. Panthers came off a grueling schedule, dude, that they played some really tough football. Eagles, Chiefs, who am I missing? Who did they have in that stretch, too, that they played really tight before this Cowboys game?
Buccaneers are a good quality
Buccaneers,
team.
They very much had that game.
Yep.
Very much had that game. And so that's, going into that Cowboys game last week, we were both like, no way we're taking the Cowboys. That emotional loss, like, no way we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Cowboys went in there and smoked them. My thought is Cowboys got after Bryce Young like he hadn't been got after in a minute. But the Eagles and Chiefs defensive line are solid, just like the Cowboys defensive line solid. Now, again, that was a noon game. Same time I was at the Giants-Ravens game, so I did not put a lot of focus into that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we know. So if you listen to professional bettors, every year the team's going to have 3 underperforming games, 3 overperforming games, and the rest are going to be on par with what we think they are, right?
Yep.
For me, I think this was one of those 3 games for the Panthers just this past week that was one of their letdown spots. They had just come off 3 good fucking teams and were right there until the final drive with every single one of those teams. They probably had a little bit of a mental lapse in this game versus the Cowboys. They were at home, first time favored in like 24 or 34 games. Can't remember. One of those 2. In Cardinals, I think, I'm sorry, I was kind of with you too. I was riding that train. I think they might be a little bit of pretenders. I am no longer high on the Cardinals. I've never loved Kyler Murray. He has games where he's good. But it seems like he just gets figured out. Cardinals rush defense. I don't think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Bryce. I think that's going to give him some time. We've seen their defense on PFF, and we're like, how's this team even compete? Cardinals, that is.
I know.
And but they step up and they're impressive, man. Like the coaching staff gets them to play, gets the boys to play. But either way, they don't have like the guys. I think they're going to put Bryce Young under so much stress, and I think the Panthers are going to keep fighting, man. They've been out. Their season's been done for so long, and they've been fighting. I think they're woke back up. So I like the 4.5, like the money line. Did as I've been doing, split the bet. And that is who I'm rolling with, man, for my dog.
Yeah. Does the receiver injuries scare you at all for the Carolina Panthers?
Did we lose somebody this past week?
Like it's out. More is a questionable at the moment. So every pro is saying hammer Jalen Coker's props right now. Okay. I have a lot of concern with the skill player. Let's go skill players. I have Hubbard in fantasy, so I'm a Hubbard guy. Let's just get that clear.
I do too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I also had Brooks. When I saw Brooks was going to be out for God knows how long, I jumped on Hubbard and I got lucky there. Nonetheless, I'm just saying I'm concerned about the skill players here on the Panthers side, right? Pass rush is not going to be an issue for the Cardinals. They don't really have a good one anyway, so you're going to have time in the pocket, but just do you have guys to throw to? That is a preview of what's coming up here in a little bit when we get to the prop segment.
To counter that, Panthers do have the 8th best run blocking unit.
Yeah, Hubbard prop could be great here. I'm just saying, just because of them being handicapped a bit.
Yeah, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know Leggett was out. Did not see
not that Leggett
game.
Is a game changer. That's not what I'm trying to say.
But he's their number 2.
That's correct.
Still, that can make a difference having a number 2 guy out. Top of my head, I probably don't think he's a big enough of a game changer. I think Theilen would worry me a lot more because
Agreed.
That's like the safety blanket. Thielen's like the safety blanket. So knowing that, I obviously it's not great, but I think they're going to be dependent on Thielen and running the football anyways.
Yeah, I think that's their success, their way to victory. It's just the pushback is the Murray, man. I'm sorry, the Cardinals have to win. I think they've played worse coming out of that 4-game win streak. 2 losses out of 3 games. Right, Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks, and they lost to the Seahawks twice. That is unacceptable. You got to split division games at the worst. I mean, that's just kind of the Cardinal rule, right?
And they kind of got dominated in both those.
Yeah, I know. And one was at home. So it's a bad. They need these games, and it's not like they. I mean, I think the Rams are a fine team. The Niners are trying to get healthy, so it's not like they finish easy. I think this one's a stretch. I have no place to talk, though. I'll leave it alone because I haven't been close.
Hey, it is fair to disagree.
Yeah.
That's why we do this.
Well, we're going money line here. Mine will probably surprise you, maybe a little bit more. Mine's Rams at Jets. Jets money line. We've talked about on this podcast a few times, right? When, to jump off teams, when everybody's on a team. I felt like maybe the Jets were the team everybody was on for the first, what do you think, probably 12 weeks of the year? I don't know.
It's so long.
Dude, they never covered, and Vegas continued to make the spreads very short or have them favored. We have now started to shift at least at 3 or more here, right? And that's when they started covering, right? 6.5 for the Dolphins, minus 3.5 against a bad Jaguars team, which, whatever. And now they're plus 3 on the Rams. I like Jets. I saw 3.5 when I was looking around on Monday. I love that. This is a much better team at home. Much better team at home. They have the 8th highest pressure rate in the NFL. Their D-line's not great, but they like to pressure, like to get after the quarterback. Someone we talked about the Vikings, right, with their blitzing. Yep. Stafford really struggles under pressure. They got 53.2 pass rating under pressure, so they're going to try to get after him, right? 23rd best pass rush. I just mentioned that. But the Rams are 31st in pass blocking. A little concern there. So if the Jets could just get up in there, bro, I might have a shot at this. And if you look at their game grades, so I looked at kind of Phil Steele and how he grades each game for the NFL, they play a shit ton better at home than they do in the. They actually have a winning score average at home with their record, which is pretty insane. Their best top 3 games at home were 24-3 against New England. New England sucks. Let's move on from that. Buffalo, they lost 20-23. That was their second best graded game of the season. The third game was Denver at home. They lost 9-10. That was their third best graded game. This team's a lot better at home. Rodgers is still playing fine. Devontae Adams, I don't know what you want to say if he's back or how you want to phrase that. Looks like they're connecting a little better, right? I think this team might be a little live here. It's not like the Rams knock my socks off either, right? They got some holes you can exploit in terms of their team.
They got holes. They do. They were a little bit last week. Probably their defense was made to look out better because Brock Purdy just can't throw the football in the rain for some reason. There's actually like data on that now. When he gets in those rain games, he can't. There is data. That guy's got small hands apparently, which is funny when you hear that in the combine. But apparently it fucks with him when the ball gets slick, man. So, anyways, I think their defense, to your point, Rams defense, they're not that good. The Rams have to rely basically on Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp getting open because Stafford can still dish. My only concern, because I looked at this game, my only concern is the Jets defense has gotten worse all year, man. Oh, they can't fucking stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Yeah, they can get after the quarterback, but that's kind of all they can do. That's what kept me off this game.
It's even their defense is obviously easily the worst part of their team. Like, as in, it's worse than the offense. I mean, that's obviously a statement. They can't tackle very well. They're at the bottom half of the league in tackling, right? I saw the defense was a concern. I mean, you could even – I'm just banking on this. The pressure rate with the quarterback, the pass blocking for the Rams being poor, and Stafford's passer rating being poor under pressure. I'm hoping somebody can get in there, get after it.
Cause havoc.
Just call some havoc, man.
Yeah, right. There's always angles to look at in a game to say if this happens, this team's going to cover.
Yep.
So for you found, hey, if this happens, this is a weakness and this is a strength here. So if this can be exploited, they're going to cover.
I need my boy Quinnen Williams to get up in there and make shit happen is what I really need. But again, we'll see. He's disappeared. It's crazy going into the season. The Jets' strength is their defense. They've just completely let the team down. And then you have the owner saying he wanted to bench a Rodgers week 4, and it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, take your 70-year-old fucking hedge fund ass and go sit the fuck somewhere else. I'm sorry, I want to rant. Fuck that guy, dude. Saleh should have been kept, in my opinion. It was way too soon.
Yep.
The defense was better under him. Quinnen Williams was having a really good first half of the year, and then he's completely fallen off. I don't know if that's the reason. He could be. Who knows? He could be banged up. I'm not sure. I'm not a Jets fan, but I'm just saying they got worse. It's fair to say that.
Yep. Very fair to say that. So yeah,
right.
We'll see how our dogs play out. Here.
I gotta get one at some point, right? Squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. All right, where are we going next?
Let's rip a total here.
Okay.
So we're going to end up going back and forth between this game because you've got a prop on this game, which I'm curious to hear where you're at. So for me though, Chiefs Texans, I am on the under here. Pretty fucking easy win, boys and girls. I'm just kidding. I can't say that because we're definitely going to lose.
I know. Now we're screwed. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, I'm under 42.5 in this game. One, we've talked about it a ton on this podcast. The Texans offense has not been good all year. When they win football games, they run the football. You can watch CJ Stroud. Guy's been off all year. It hasn't changed. Like, we've kind of, is in a midseason slump. What is it? No, I think it's an entire year 2 slump, and we'll see how the year 3 is, but that's a whole year from now. So we'll save that. When they win football games, they run the football well. Like, you go back and you look at Joe Mixon's numbers, they run the football well. Well, what is the best thing about the Chiefs' defense? Their rush defense.
Yes.
Sixth highest rush defense. So I think they're going to take them away. And as far as the Chiefs go, their offensive line sucks this year. We know that.
That's why Mahomes is banged up. Yes.
He's getting killed. This is the most he's ever been hit in the pocket. And this guy's a magician. We all know that too. And this is the most in his career he's ever been hit in the pocket. They can't figure out their tackle position. They tried moving Joe Thuney from guard to tackle after DJ Humphries got hurt. And they tried to pull him off the street after an ACL tear. Humphries got hurt. Joe Thuney didn't work out there. He's a guard. He's been playing that for like 8 years in the NFL now. You've got 2 studs on the defensive line for the Texans. We got Anderson, and is Grenard the other guy? Why am I blanking right now? Do you have the lineup pulled up?
I can bring it up here. It's for you're talking about for the Texans.
Yeah,
Anderson Hunter. Yep.
Oh, Daniil Hunter. Okay,
Daniil
Grenard.
Hunter.
Okay, They kind of switched. Grenard plays for the Vikings. Hunter plays for them. Yeah. So, anyways, those guys can get after, and that's the Chiefs' weakest part is their tackles. Their guards are good. So, anyways, I think Mahomes is going to struggle yet again if he plays, which he's participated full in practice the last 2 days.
Yeah, just as a quick tidbit, I'll take it away from you. That Mahomes has never missed a practice since he's been the starter of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Like on weeks that he's played?
Because
he's had weeks he was injured.
And also practice.
No.
Yep.
Remember when he popped his knee out like 3 years ago?
He still practiced. Heard it today.
He did?
An insider said he's never missed a practice, but he has missed 3 games.
Holy shit. That is a nugget. That is a nugget.
That's loaded, right? We've been in the NFL. Like, is he out there and not just kind of,
There's so many rules about that, like full participation.
Exactly.
Like you can get a limited in if you literally go take 1 snap. Well, he limited participant.
That's it. So
anyway. The full participant, yeah. So, but I was thinking, I like this bet, whether it's Carson Wentz or Mahomes. Like, I'm not even worried about it since the line flipped because the Texans were like favored by 2. Now the Chiefs are favored by 3. That obviously indicates the market thinks Mahomes is going to play. So I figure this is the best I'm going to get because if Mahomes doesn't play and we find out it's Wentz, this number is going to drop a couple points. I don't think it's going to drop significantly, but 41 is a key number in the NFL. So I wanted to make sure I got above that. So those are my main points, man. I just think both offenses are going to struggle. Both offenses have struggled all year and both defenses have kind of carried these teams. To me, that's why at the beginning I joked, this seems like one of those no-brainers where it's like, I can go look up stats. Or I can just use my fucking eyes and what I've seen all year long.
It's just tough because, like, do you flirt with something like this, especially with, Mahomes not playing. And he's practiced before and then not played, you know what I mean? Because we've had Henne out there, you know what I mean? We've had different quarterbacks. I don't think it matters, like you said, either. I think their offense generally stays the same. Especially with, what's his name? Like he likes to hold, Andy Reid likes to hold things close to his vest. I think with Mahomes out, it probably makes it better. So he can run whatever he wants because, Carson Wentz is in, so he can do whatever he wants because you're not going to think it's an issue. But, 42.5. There's all over we got 41.5 at FanDuel. Would you get it at 42?
Yeah, 42.5. That was FanDuel for me. And then it was DK and the others were at 41.5, I think.
Still
so
there.
It's kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Still there. Okay. Yeah. It's just tough. I think totals in the NFL are tough. The fourth quarter wrecks the whole thing,
Fourth quarter's, so scary.
Yeah. But you know how it rolls. So
yeah, we do. But yeah, man, I watch all the Chiefs games too.
Yeah,
so I feel like I got a feel for the game. And the other game I contemplated was Bengals-Browns.
Of course, right? Chiefs and Bengals. That's what we got to get back to our roots here. We got to get back to the roots.
That's right.
I have Vikings at Seahawks over 42.5 as my total. I thought it was tough back and forth, but Geno looks to be a go, from what I saw, which is huge because I don't want Sam Howell. If Sam Howell even starts to play, just hammer the under on live. I don't know. Whatever you got to do, just make sure you don't want Sam Howell starting. Vikings aren't great in pass coverage, 17th. Dude, the Seahawks throw it a ton. You know that. They're the 6th best passing offense, obviously, with Geno in. I want to preface that with Geno in. No Stephen Gilmore for the Vikings. He's been banged up for this game. And they're kind of lacking depth on the Seahawks side in the corners, right? They got 2 corners out as well, Burns and Brown. They're not starters, so I just want to preface that, but they're a little weak on depth. The weather's not, I think in terms of weather, I know it's not a big factor this week, but Washington's in the 40s. I'm sorry. Yeah. Seattle's in the 40s this week, like mid 40s for weather, where everyone else is around the 32s, 27s, 24s. So it's got pretty good football weather on the Seattle side. I just see both of these teams slinging it. I thought 42.5 was a little short there. I think it's kind of dipped in not my favor actually this week. Oh, I am wrong. It has slid up to 43.5 now.
Okay, so you got the CLV.
I think so. You know how these things go, but in the NFL, at least when I pay attention, I should say, I don't feel like these numbers, unless an injury or some big news happens, these don't move a shit ton, kind of like in college football and stuff, like you see.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's going to be the same thing with CFP and stuff. So, I just don't see these numbers shifting that much. So, at one point, all right, we're moving in the right direction. So, I'm down with that. So, that's kind of my thought is 2 pretty good offenses and 2 kind of weak defenses. That's kind of where I'm at. Obviously, Geno playing, of course.
Yes, with Geno playing.
So,
yeah. I think it's a fair point that the Seahawks throw the football a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's because if you can beat the Vikings on some blitzes, you can get some big plays against them.
Yep.
The Bears couldn't fucking do it last week, but we've seen people do that on the Vikings, to the Vikings, I should say. He's a vet. I like it.
Yep.
Like as far as like Geno, yeah, he can get out there and rep. Plus, they're desperate too.
I know, that's true. They are too.
That kind of helps. And then you think about the Vikings and Lions; they have the same record right now. Like they're going to be pushing. They're going to be pushing.
Yep, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the totals are always tough, so we'll see. Prop, what do you got?
All right, we are going back to a longest. So we're not going to do a rushing, not going to do a receiving. We're going to do a longest reception. Oh. Yeah, coming from my guy. No, he's not my guy. AJ Brown.
Okay. Yeah.
Eagles at the Commanders. So it's funny. You go and you look at the Commanders, and like their corners don't grade well, and I'm like, or I'm sorry, they do grade well, and I'm like, well, that's weird because I've seen them give up like a lot of big plays this year. So I was like, let me go look at their coverage grade. Sure as shit, 27th. That's the Washington defense coverage grade. Yeah, and you remember a couple weeks ago, like AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts had that riff, and they were bitching. And then the last game, they started ripping it, man. They started ripping it. I also don't know what's going on with Saquon Barkley. I heard he's a little banged up because the last couple of weeks he hasn't done a lot, and they're talking about using Kenneth Gainwell more. And it's like, well, that's weird because he's been the best back in the NFL by like a long shot this year.
Wow. Okay.
Only a 3-point spread. So I want those games where at least we think it's going to be tight and competitive, and they're going to keep airing it out. And then let me pull this back up here. We had what his longs have been this year. So I got this one at 25.5. So looking at this real quickly here, he's hit this less than 50% of the time. I will be honest with you. Doesn't bother me. He started the beginning of the year when they were throwing more. He was hitting this pretty damn consistently. Hit it a couple times in the middle of the year. Hasn't hit it in 3 weeks now. Has not hit this number. He's due.
I was about to say, I like that better in a way.
Like a true Joe, he is due for a long play because that's what they do. They get him matched one-on-one, and Jalen Hurts can't fucking always read a defense. Let's be real. You just see him chucking balls. He hits Devontae Smith on crossing routes across the middle of the field when they're playing man defense on rub routes, and then they get one-on-one opportunities with A.J. Brown, and they throw it up over the top. I've seen the Washington Commanders exploit it all year doing that, and their coverage grade for the entire year as a defense also supports that.
Yeah, we saw the Bengals earlier in the year. Bengals threw it all over the field on them,
dude. Every play
season. Yeah, so they're definitely exploitable. And A.J. Brown's, obviously he's a beast, so he's good for a long reception. I mean, you could get it in one play, that's for sure. That's how it goes.
It was kind of like, you were saying like it's a coin flip with Josh Allen last week, and I was like, technically these longest over-unders are all like it's such a coin flip bet.
Yep.
But I gave my reasons for that last week, and I have my reasons where I think like obviously I think I have an edge here.
Yep.
And I think this is the defense to go over the top.
All right, so we'll go back to the Chiefs-Texas game for my prop, and I thought I was going to get a really good number. I've gotten a trash number this afternoon. Yes. So I want to talk about this with you. I have a backup as well that I can fit in here. I like it a lot better, but I figure since I made all these stupid-ass notes that we should at least talk about because I really liked it. So, obviously with Mahomes' injuries, Carson Wentz started kind of getting some buzz that are possibly starting this weekend. So I was like, how would I attack this defense in the Houston Texans, right? Because they're not my favorite team by any stretch. The Houston Texans defense, the weakest part is the rush defense. I was hoping the Dolphins would show a bit more, but they can't run the football anyway, so I have to trash that hope for them. But looking at Pacheco here, okay, I was like, all right, how can we attack this? Because he's pretty much their starting one running back, right? Tony Pollard, when they played the Titans, who might be benched here at some point in the last 3 games. Tony Pollard.
I know that was random.
Because he hasn't really played that well, and they want to see what other guys have because the Titans are pretty much out of it. I heard that earlier on the radio. I was like, okay.
I hadn't heard that, so okay.
Not that I don't know if it matters for fantasy purposes, maybe for some, but it's been talked about. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tony Pollard went off on them, on the Texans. Had 8 zone runs versus the Texans. I think he had over 100 that game. Odd chain, right? We'll just go the last game. He had 47 yards or something like that. But they ran 8 zone runs with him. So a lot of film is showing the zone runs of the move, which kind of threw me off. Pacheco's had 11 2 games where he has at least 11 zone runs, and he went off in both of those. So I'm banking on some Andy Reid zone runs for Pacheco, because we've had history show zone runs can be beneficial against this team. I think this is a stretch, but it's a little bit deeper research. I was hoping Pacheco's number was going to be 40. Pacheco's number is not 40. It's 56.5.
Oh, shit.
But it's 56.5, and the over is minus 120. So, actually, this board has under 56.5 as minus 125 on this board of DraftKings. So, shop around, maybe get a better number. BetGM has minus 135. It doesn't matter. What is your feel? Is this a stretch? Do you see them running the ball more? Because you're only looking at probably 13 to 14 carries here for Pacheco. Probably. Does that change if Wentz starts? We don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. No, this is actually my favorite bet you've talked about so far, though.
Okay.
Absolutely is. Because this is going to be, either way, whether you have Carson Wentz or you have a Mahomes that's kind of hobbling around, you think you're going to get some more things involved. You're either going to get quick passes or more runs or a combination of both, right? You're not probably going to leave Mahomes sitting back in the pocket, and you're probably not going to do that with Carson Wentz either, especially talking about those ends I talked about for the Texans earlier. Mm-hmm. So this is... I was pretty convinced on this. Now, the zone thing, I did not know that. Where did you find that? Because that was a big sell for me, too. Because, earlier in the year when I was fucking spending like an hour a game trying to find a prop, this is like the type of shit that I would go do, is look at all these similar matchups and what have they done? What has this team allowed? And what was the matchup that allowed that stuff? So where did you get that info?
Yeah, so here's what I did. I dove into props so bad here with Pacheco because I thought it'd be a really good hit with Wentz starting to be quarterback. I went to, the classic, right? Has he hit over my 40 number this year? Has Pacheco done that? So I went in some of the PFF, the deeper numbers, and he's kind of over the board. We have a 90 in there. Like I said, we have a 55 in there. The 90 and the 55, if you go into the premium stats of PFF and you look at the rushing side, you notice when he had 90 yards versus Cincinnati, he had 11 zone rushes. When he had 55 yards and 14 carries versus the Chargers, he had 11 zone rushes. Now, I understand 55 is not a total yards, but we're right there in the pocket of 56.5 here versus a weaker, I don't know about that, Texans rush defense. Now, if you look at his other games, right, we're only talking about 6 zone rushes against the Baltimore Ravens, 3 zone rushes versus the Raiders, and only 7 versus the Browns. Okay, and the Browns got a good rushing D, but they're kind of falling off. I don't know how you want to look at that. It's tough to tell.
It's so weird with that team, yeah.
I know. Either way, this number's way high. Maybe since I'm way off, this is going to tell me they're going to hammer Pacheco here. I don't know. I thought a lot of the rushing number props for the Kansas City Chiefs were a bit high. Kareem Hunt's is a little high. Anyway, I was like, okay, let's just go look at other ways they're calling against this Texans defense. Obviously, just played the Dolphins, just played the Titans. And I looked at that game, same thing, premium stats for rushing for the players, right? Tony Pollard, Achane, and they had higher number of zone rushes. So I'm like, they're seeing something with zone rushes that they want to call it. I don't know if they'll be successful, but they want to call that. So they see something. I'm assuming Andy Reid is also maybe seeing someone. So maybe at least 7 zone rushes for Pacheco. I don't know.
Okay.
That's how I went down this path. It sounds like a stretch, definitely considering, you're kind of hoping for a lot of like 11 zone rushes for Pacheco here, but he's had it before and he's had success. So
yeah, interesting. I wonder if would you ever look at the longer stretch, 14.5, just because like he could pop one off. Now he's only hit that once in 5 games this year, and the Chiefs aren't known to really. They're more of a grind team on the ground.
Yeah,
but just with that zone rush angle.
Would you say 14.5?
14.5 is what I'm seeing.
I was not prepared to dive in, but I would also kind of look at some of that too. It's kind of like where what was the longest rush for some of the other previous games and how they attacked that? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would start to look at there.
Totally.
Chain's longest rush was 7. Mozart had 6. Longest rush. Oh, sorry, that's the Dolphins. We don't give a shit about them.
Fuck those losers.
Yeah, fuck them, dude. We hate them. If we go back to the Jags game, I don't know if you want to count that. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing for the Jags. Anyway, ETN's longest rush was 9, right? Tank's longest was 19, but he's more of a spell back for them. And then if you want to go back to Pollard, so now I'm going 3
27.
games. 27.
I did that one for you while you were doing that one. 27.
Yeah, Pollard obviously had a bigger game, right? So he could be an outlier here, I guess you could say now if you're looking at the last 3 games. So just my response to that, I think 14.5 I'd hit under.
You would? Okay.
I would. Due to here's my concern here. It's the lack of carries and snaps that Pacheco gets because they have Worthy back now and they have Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Right? So they're going to give them some looks as well. So I don't see any more than 14 snaps here. Rushing snaps, I apologize. 14 rushing snaps for Pacheco. So you're banking on, I'll say this, if you hit the 14.5, you're going to hit the 56.5.
So you might as well just play the 56.5.
Right.
Yeah.
That is my thought here. But
yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, because the carries number set at 14.5, and I'm like, that's so perfect.
Dude, yeah, that's all right, so I would have been right there.
Because like he's been averaging 13, 14 like the last 2 games. No, he's only in back 3, but you can't really count that first game back because he only got 7 carries, and that's because they were working him back. So the last 2 games, 13, 14. I don't think he's suddenly going to take off because even earlier in the year he was getting 15, 16. But I think the books know that's why they set it at 14.5 because they're also like, books are fucking smart. They also know Chiefs are probably going to lean on the run game a little bit more this game.
Yep.
So it's just such a good number, man.
I know. So I guess I was going to say over my 40, but now that it's 56.5, I would have said that. But if you want a replacement prop, I love, and we won't go into this because we got to move on to college. But Mac Jones, 205.5 passing yards. I think the Raiders are tanking, and they have the worst passing defense in the league. And Mac Jones has had over that last 3 games. He's been absolutely slinging it. I see a big game by him and Brian Thomas there.
I hope Brian Thomas got him on my fantasy team.
Oh, yeah, I think you're good there. That Raiders team is a bit rough, so I like that a lot on that spot.
Yeah, because the Falcons had guys running open. Kirk Cousins, just something's off with him.
Oh, my jeez. So. I know. So Michael Penix this weekend. Okay.
Michael Penix, let's go, baby.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Although I'm yeah. Okay, sorry, let's move on.
Yeah, all right, no worries. All right, cool. I have 2 of these games. I think I have pretty decent notes. 1 game I have no notes.
That's fair. I only have bets on 2 of the 3 games.
It's just so risky. We'll start with the one where they have the most meat and potatoes. SMU at Penn State. I started thinking about the weather for some of these games, right? We have Ohio State. We got Penn State. Right, everywhere's got cold weather. Notre Dame has cold weather.
Yep, I've heard this too. I got for you after you run it.
I just don't know if it's. I don't know if we have a weather play here. You've said this to me before, and I've been right with weather, and I've been wrong with weather. It's a fucking trend, is what it is. Right? You can be wrong. It's a real thing. I think with these games on weather, relax here. There's too much time to prepare, right? And all of that. I think a weather play, don't book the bet just because it's 32 degrees and just under 10-mile-an-hour winds at Penn State, right? I wouldn't book an under there. I don't think that's guaranteed. It might happen, but I'm not saying it's because of the weather. Anyway, I want to make note of that. Dude, I heard a really good question today. Who's the better quarterback, Drew Aller at Penn State or Jennings at SMU? Jennings is actually a backup if you really get nitty-gritty, but they both graded well. I think that depends on who they're playing, right? Defense they're playing. And I just think it depends on the matchup. I think both are pretty quality guys. Obviously, Drew Aller is coming back next season for Penn State. Here's the thing. I don't have an in-game bet here. SMU first half plus 5.5 is my bet. I like it a lot. They're 9-4-1 on first half spreads this year. SMU is. Okay. Penn State's not even in the top 25 of spread rankings records this season for the first half, right? James Franklin beats the teams he should and covers a lot as well with the teams that he should beat, and he doesn't against top 5 teams, right?
Yep.
Craziest thing is, if you're looking at PFF and the total grade, if you're just looking at the, where you just rank the teams and you go to the team stats, you just look at the grades, SMU's better. You go to overall grade, defense, offense, special teams. They're graded better overall by 1 point. You go to Phil Steele, look at the last 4 game grades for Penn State, last 4 game grades, average for SMU. SMU's better. It's crazy. I was all on Penn State bet for this. Now I don't think that at all. I think the points are huge here for them. The only thing is James Franklin always covers against shitty. They're not shitty. That's not what I meant. He always covers against teams that are worse than him. So anyway, Penn State is ranked 80. I'm a big tackling guy. Penn State is ranked 82nd in the country in tackling.
Yikes.
SMU has pretty good receivers. SMU has a good team, right? I mean, I know they've had both ACC teams have poorish schedules, not as strong as some of these other bigger conferences. But nonetheless, we can't take this away from them. They graded how they're graded, and they're a good team. That's why they're there for a reason. I just think that with all of this data I'm seeing, right, that we've paid for, that we have,
yep,
I'm just going to shut the fuck up, listen, and let's see how it plays out.
So your pick here is SMU first half plus 5.5.
Yeah, just because of the Franklin effect and covering late.
Yes.
I don't know.
Because you're going to hear about it all week, that he cannot beat top 5 teams, and that is true. And then he covers against everybody fucking else, which is also true. You're going to hear it on any podcast that you listen to this week. You are. I was hearing some very interesting takes on this game. I don't have a bet, but I think I just talked myself into a bet on this game. I think I'm going to take the over 54.5. Because like you said, it's not that cold. So the stat that I was, when you were talking about the cold weather, don't freak out. When it does get under 20 degrees, that's the only noticeable drop-off with any data in football. Under 20 degrees, there is an 8% drop in offensive efficiency. You just said this is going to be like 32, right?
32, yeah.
10-mile-an-hour winds, so we're not hitting that metric. Here's what I was listening to earlier. Penn State struggles with spread offenses. That's what their defense struggles with. Who were the 2 spread offenses they played? Bowling Green and Oregon. Both teams lit them the fuck up. So they were saying this is a very tough matchup for Penn State defensively. And then on the other side, who has SMU played from an offensive standpoint that is as good as Andy Kolnicki, their offensive coordinator for Penn State, or even has like the quarterback, like Alar, or however you say his name. So just listening to like that perspective of the football game, and it's like that does make a lot of sense when you go through their schedule. So I would be more inclined to look at the over in this game. Have you, obviously you talked about taking first half SMU. Did you look at the total or consider, I mean, obviously I'm sure you did, but nothing you liked on that?
I didn't really look at, I'm going to see if we can get a first half here, but I haven't really looked at that specifically. I see the over-unders at 54.5, 54. Obviously, and that's another thing is maybe this is a live play. I mean, like Clemson got up on them quick, man, right? In that conference championship for the ACC, Clemson got up on them quick and they fought right back.
Yep.
Right. So the team's got a little fight in them too. I just have a little concern. Now, Clemson had a good pass rush as well. Their pass rush is not a scrub, and now obviously that's going to be the strongest suit for Penn State, right? Abdul Carter and right in that Penn State pass rush that does it. I could easily see this kind of being a shootout, but I'm not convinced. That's the only thing is the tackling supports that for Penn State, man. It does. Poor tackling on that side. Yeah. And then kind of what you were saying with SMU not seeing maybe a team is this good on offense. I mean, obviously Clemson's probably pretty solid, but SMU probably, you know what I mean? We're still playing good offenses here. Drew Aller's still a very good rated quarterback, so over 54.5. I don't know what a number would be where I would stop and not bet that. I don't like 56 there. I'm going to tell you that. But I just think 54.5 seems a little high for me to take a stab at it. But I think this will be on the higher side of scoring.
Here's an angle I meant to bring up. Do you think, so we've all had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Yeah.
All the teams. do we think the offenses have the advantage the first half? Because an angle I was looking at or trying to find in every game is, can I take a first half over? Because of the time to prepare, and the first half is when you come out and catch the defense off guard. So I feel like if you like overs, you take a first half over.
See, I'm in the mix on that because like we haven't played football in quite a bit of time now.
So we come out rusty. That's the other angle of it.
That's the other angle here. We were talking 2 weeks. Yes, they played on the 3rd or whatever for SMU.
Yep.
Well, Penn State played in the championship too. So I just think you come out rusty a little bit in the first quarter. Now that could be wrong, right? Time to prepare. Because I was thinking about a first quarter under. See, that's where I was pushing back on that due to the rustiness of offenses, right? But with that same, they haven't seen each other, right? First 15 plays are scripted. You haven't seen them, right? And you're coming out just guessing as a defense where you're scripted on offense. There's a lot of different angles here we could attack. I don't know what to say.
Okay. I just went and hit the first half over 26.
Oh, you got 26. There's nothing on our board here has anything like that. They have 26.
Yeah, I had to pay minus 135.
Oh, okay.
But the other number on the other book was 27.5, and I don't want a fucking 14-13 first half.
Okay.
So for me, I'm willing to buy that a little bit because I get your angle. That's the thing is, are they rusty? I think they're rusty in the old 14 playoff when they had a month off. Here we've only had like the one bye week kind of.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think they're going to be that rusty, man. But I think you have more time to prepare.
Yeah, and the favorites have owned in the 14 playoff. The favorites owned against the spread in the first round, so the 4-team spot, right? Okay. The favorites owned and covered all the time. Interested to see how that shapes out here now. I like all the underdogs ATS besides the game we're about to cover probably. But even then, I could see a bet for the underdog. Anyway, we'll keep moving on. Okay, Clemson at Texas. I really dove into the research. The problem is, here's the thing. Clemson obviously is the worst seed at 12 here. Texas is probably everyone's betting favorite to win it all. So it's a weird spot to attack. Everybody's kind of on this Texas train, which makes me, and I'm talking pros too, which makes me want to be on the Clemson train even more. No bet. No notes, because everything you look into is just Texas has it. Texas is solid. Quinn Ewers is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Clemson's defensive line grades out fine. It does. It's a solid defensive graded D line, right? Cade Klubnik has 40 touchdowns and 5 picks. Well, they don't play buddy ACC. They all have poor defenses. I'm not going to fight that. I'm just saying numbers are numbers. That's still pretty sweet. Okay, we all suck Dalen Gabriel's dick and say he has no holes in his game. I'm sick of that. Okay, like people got holes in their game. That's why we have scouts. That's why I have it. Okay, I just think I'm not sure what the number is at now at this Clemson game. Personally,
12.
Is it still at 12? Sorry, this is the first half number, so please don't look at that.
Oh, okay.
There we go. 11.5, 12. It's just in that weird pocket for me. I said this last night. I was looking at this again. 14's my number I'd like to get to. We will not get there. If you want to tease it, be my guest. I suck at teasers. I'm not any good. I never win them. So I'm not going to do that either. I'm just saying here, if you like anything, take a peek at it. This over-under is something more I'm interested in. The reason I haven't taken a stab at the over-under, which we have 55.5, 52, I always just think back to the Georgia game and how much that Clemson offense struggled, right? Now, the second half was a little bit, but I think this is a different team. I think Clemson's a better team than they were in that game. How much better versus an SEC defense are they? We saw Georgia run all over them with ETN. We saw that in the championship game. Do we see something like that here with Clemson? I don't know. I'm too much of a wimp. You know what I mean, on this podcast to make a bet with this game. I didn't know. Did you have anything? Do you have a feel? Any notes?
I got a feel, baby.
Okay.
I got a small wager on Texas minus 12, opposite of you.
Okay.
The key for Texas is going to be scoring in the red zone. They've been able to move the ball all fucking year. When you said Georgia, I thought you were going to bring up that Texas-Georgia game Because what killed Texas is first half, they absolutely dominated every facet of the game. And they had like a 3 or 6 point lead. And like, you were like, this is bad. This is bad. You can't be in the red zone like 4 fucking times and kick 4 field goals. They never could punch the ball in the end zone until the very end. So I think the way Texas covers is actually scoring in the red zone. That's going to be the key to who covers this football game. I am banking on Texas shutting down Clemson a little bit. I'm with you. I think Cade Klubnik and that Clemson offense has gotten better all year. But when they did play a good SEC defense in South Carolina, they scored 14 points. Something really, I'm kind of just going top of my head, but I know it was a very low scoring game, maybe 17. Either way, that was and South Carolina is one of the top SEC defenses, but Texas is also a top SEC defense. So I think Clemson could get shook a little bit here. And I could see like a 30 to 13 or 17 football game.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at on the game. A little bit opposite of where you're going with it.
If you see Clemson winning, I could see it being under because they're going to run the football and try to control the game. If you see Texas winning, I could see a play to the over here because they can't run and Texas is slinging on them, which we've seen teams do against Clemson's defense.
Yeah.
I just don't see an avenue of that, but in terms of Clemson even winning or much less covering, so I'm out.
Tough game for you. And Ewers is the biggest concern for me.
Gosh, geez.
When I thought about this, like, it's like that's the one guy I don't fucking trust, dude. Because Sark is always drawing up bomb plays, dude. When they show replays, it's like, God, he has got guys running open, and Ewers just fucking flattens it like a pussy.
And they got baller receivers, dude. I saw in the conference championship game, those guys made some catches now. Holy moly for first downs.
Dude, Texas has athletes. I understand why they're tied for the favorite, man. It's just Quinn fucking Ewers. Can you throw the football?
Yeah. Not a fan. So he's going to have to go win him a game here. But if they win, right, like he's going to have to go win them a game here down the road.
Later, yes.
Later on. This next one, dude, I think this is going to be maybe the best one just because of the uncertainty of Ohio State. We got coaches, maybe Ryan Day's jobs up in it. We got Tennessee, who, kind of snuck in there, right? They have a very, very easy schedule, non-conference wise. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. Here's the facts. Ohio State has injuries on the offensive line. Yeah. Ohio State has injuries on their offensive line, right? We got the center out. I think the left tackle or guard is also out, and they've been out for a while now. Michigan exploited that. And then on the defensive side of ball for Tennessee, they have a good defensive line. That's their strongest part.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to see how that shakes out with those battles in the trenches. Here's the thing. Tennessee's going to have to run the football, I think, to win. You don't want Nico slinging this football. Right, a lot of pros had him as a future to win the Heisman. I hated the bet. I just don't think he's that good of a quarterback, and he's shown us that he can't go out and get you that dub. He's just not that guy. Ohio State's rush defense is great, bro. Very, very strong. I just don't see a path for Tennessee to kind of win here. I don't. But at the same token, this line is kind of messed up for Ohio State. They can't pass block, bro.
7.5.
7.5, yeah. I actually kind of like Tennessee. Like I said, I like a lot of underdogs here. I like Tennessee's side here, okay? But I also like the under more due to, I'm thinking as in they can't run the ball well because Ohio State's rush defense. Nico can't pass it, so that's not a problem there. And then Ohio State's side, they can't pass block, and Tennessee's pass defense is very good. So Judkins is going to have to be huge here, which he's an NFL draft pick probably. So I see some running the football, trying to control the game, trying to win the battles in the trenches. So because if you have a rough offensive line, they're generally going to be better at rushing, right, as in run blocking, right, because they can go downhill. So that's what I'm banking on here. Get Judkins the ball, get, Sampson, I think it is the ball for Tennessee. I got under 46.5. What I have.
Ohio State's going to have to be creative because, you've noticed those 2 offensive linemen that you brought up. Mm-hmm. Ever since those guys went out, that is when they haven't been exploited from an offensive standpoint. And their defense just kind of makes plays for them. That's the times they have scored. But Michigan shut them the fuck down, dude. They couldn't even run versus Michigan.
No.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. I took a little bit of a different angle on it. I took Tennessee's team total under 18.5. That's the angle I went with it.
Didn't you have a Tennessee team total under, or was that me? That was me.
That was you.
Oklahoma game.
Texas A&M.
Oklahoma game.
Okay. And that hit, I think.
It was, and it was a very low-scoring game, at least for the first 3 quarters, really. It was, Oklahoma had every reason to be in it, but then they just couldn't score. But anyway, because I think that was the game they put the backup in, and they kept him in for the rest of the year. Yeah.
They kept him in for 3 more games, and they put Jackson Arnold
That's right.
in.
You're right.
Then Jackson Arnold said, fuck you, I'm going to Auburn.
Yep. Saw that.
Yep.
I see that this number's kind of all over the place, but I guess it's kind of trending down for the over-under. And you said you had a team total 18?
18.5 for Tennessee is where I'm at.
For Tennessee. I don't think I can pull that up.
And I agree with everything you said. Nico's going to have to throw the football. I don't think he's going to be able to. That defensive coordinator for Ohio State's really good too. I know that because he came from Oklahoma State. And they never have talent, and they could always fucking play, dude. They played as a team unit, and Ohio State's just been good defensively all year, and Nico's been exploited, man. You pointed it out before I saw it, and I was like, oh, he's not that good, actually. Yeah. He was crushing weak defenses, but when he had to step up in class, they had to find other ways to win football games.
I'm worried if Tennessee turns the ball over, which you're probably hoping for, but if they turn the ball over, they're done. Ohio State will just run it and they won't get it back. So a little bit of concern there. Anyway, let's hit some best bets. Let's get it going. Let me bring it up here for us. Are you going to watch the CFP games? We got one on Friday, Notre Dame, Indiana.
That's probably going to be the one I'm missing. Let's be real, I'm partying that day.
That's fair. All right, best bets. SMU, I love the first half bet, plus 5.5. We just talked about that. At Penn State. Tennessee at Ohio State, going to stick with the under 46.5. We just hit on all of that. I see that number's kind of changed a little bit. So shop around, get your best number. And then Minnesota Vikings at Seahawks over 42.5. That was the over under bet that we had for NFL this week. And then I'm going back.
You're going to do Theilen again?
I'm going back.
Was this a late? You didn't even talk about this.
This is it, bro. I'm going back. Fourth best bet of this week, and the craziest part is it's the same number.
It's the same number. I thought this was. I was like, did you forget to change?
Nope. I literally brought it up because the props just released tonight. I brought it up, typed it in on my old smartphone here. I'm gonna type it again and see if it's changed. I'm sure it's probably at 55 now because everybody wants to jump on my bet here.
Yeah.
Went to it. Thielen's still at 51.5. Okay. I'm gonna go back. Leggett is out. Moore's banged up. He'll probably play. Their tight end can't do shit. And I think the Cardinals' defense is worse than. I'm drawing a blank here, but I think they're worse than previous week. So I'm seeing more Thielen action.
Cowboys, Chiefs, Eagles, stud defenses. That's who they played against.
So I'm seeing some Thielen action here. Young's kind of he's been kind of inconsistent now, right? We come some regression back to the mean after he's been hot, right? We've had some picks, we had some interception, we had some sacks, no O-line protection, so we kind of got it all over the place again. Here we go, you know what I mean? But the Cardinals don't have a D-line, right? So I'm gonna see some Thielen. Let's get back to it. I really like it. I think I dove all in.
Yeah,
that and Mac Jones.
Going back to Thielen. Well, I mean, when I was talking about that game for taking the money line, I said this was going to be a Chuba game and a Thielen game. Once you told me Leggett was out, and the best defensive player for the Cardinals is Buda Baker. Guess what? He's a safety. He doesn't fucking cover receivers. Correct. Really.
And just got extended. Just got extended 3 years. Did you see that?
Him, man.
Yeah, got some extra chunk.
He was trying to get traded before last year.
Not now. Just 3-year extension. 3-year extension. All right. What do you got?
Nice. Texans Chiefs under 42.5. Talked about it. Could be an offensive struggle for both teams. A.J. Brown over 25.5. Longest reception. Talked about that one too. Yep. Yeah, it's a good secondary to get it on. I'm sticking with the Panthers at plus 4.5. I am. All my money line dogs, I will take the points, and I will use that as a best bet because if I like a money line, I'm going to take the points because I think they can do that. The final one.
You have a college best bet? What is happening here?
First time in 14 weeks?
I can't believe this. This is blowing my mind.
I have a college best bet, everybody. I like it so fucking much. And the NFL is tough to me this week, dude. I have very few bets in the NFL. I was looking at the board and I was like, I hate all of this. I have a few more bets, but I was like, I don't like this. And I talked myself into taking Tennessee team total under 18.5. That's what I talked to, man. And I feel pretty good after you supported it. Well, maybe not that, but you supported the full game under.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, if Fox is on the full game under too, it makes me feel better about that because we did not talk about that beforehand, and I haven't gave out a college bet in
Wow.
forever.
Under 15, under 18 and a half. You heard it from him first, man. I'll be interested to see. I haven't heard that, but I like it. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. And we'll see y'all next time.